Well, hello there. We want to introduce ourselves, but there are several of us here kind of cooperating in the way we're coming through, and we can answer different questions and address different topics as needed. So, Viola is here. I took the wheel first because I like doing so. Hathor and Isis are here as well, and as you all guessed, the Essassani. Yes, we have a specialty contact group that is here, ready to communicate with us. They have been in the area for quite some time. They were present at the CE5 event last night, although they're saying that last night they chose to stay mostly in the background and let other forces and sources be involved in the contact experience. Now, we know you had several questions regarding Hathor and her connection to this motherland that you are on, so I will usher her in and allow her to address these topics. I will say that as a fairy, we also love this area. There is a very big concentration of spirit, as you call it, of many forms and many kinds, which you could see Sedona as a point of gathering. So us too, the fairies, love to gather here, love to interact with all the different beings and different intelligences that come here to commune. Just like humans like coming to Sedona for spiritual retreats and gatherings, so it is so on the other side where we are. Now that we have addressed this, let us clear the way for your beloved Hathor to come through and address your questions. Blessings. It is I, Hathor. I don't mind referring to myself as a singular, as you have become accustomed to do so. In addition, as I manifest in the physical, there is individuation. So there is a being in the physical that would be appropriate to call Hathor. For that reason, I choose to come through in an individuated form at this time. Now, I will say that my physical form is in very close proximity to where you are now. This is exciting for us as a group, and we know that for you as well. We will say that you can actually feel our energy. We can detect it in your field, not only right now, but as you spend time in Sedona and the area, we can detect our own key signature, energetic signature in your fields. You may see it as, I don't know if dormant is the right word, but existing, resting essence within your own field that is then triggered and awakened when you come in close proximity. Now, the same effect happens consciously when you are in Yafi's group and she's channeling me, she's channeling us. The same thing happens to your field. The same effect happens by your mere proximity of being in this beautiful motherland. So, the ones that are here in person, most of you, we believe, did not recognize the signature as Hathor, but you knew that you're feeling the energies of the location, the intensity of the energies of the location. We can now open the stage for you to ask questions and interact as desired.
Greetings.
Greetings.
I really, just to start off, I want to make sure to leave plenty of space for Ben and Doris who are there, and I think communicating in person is really neat. But we did have a question that I would love to ask. In the feelings that we're going through, almost like a calendar, it seems to me at the end of summer we were going through this space where we were preparing the body for energies to come through, and now that fall's hit, since we've prepared our body, we're open, and it feels like energy is coming through us, and it's our job to kind of surrender to these energies. Could you comment on the calendar and the energy, the cycles of energy that are happening to us right now?
Yes, we will address the times in the calendar, and you will see how you fit it within your perception and within your experience. So you are now at the end, already over the peak of time, and we're talking about smaller cycles as in your annual seasons. So in the past, we would say 7 months approximately, you have gone through a time of very intense bombardment of different frequencies, different light codes, different essences, but they all fit actually within frequencies and light codes. So, and you have been bombarded with those with through the different eclipses, through different sun rays and emissions that are not necessarily disclosed by your scientists, and by the quickening of the rising of the frequency of humanity as a whole. So all these forces have been acting very strongly, most strongly in the last 7 months, but also in the last 9 months, if you want to look at your calendar. And the physical body and the human mind has been playing catch up, because all these frequencies, all these upgrades are happening so quickly and so intensely that it takes the physical body layers over layers over layers to get accustomed to these changes and to these intensifying frequencies. Now, it is not the same for every person. As you know, your bodies are in different conditions, in different vibratory rates, and so is your mind. And your mind and your body are connected, however, it's connected but separate. There are two different engines, mechanisms at place interacting with these intensifying energies. Now, would you like any follow-up clarification or more details on any of what we've just mentioned?
No.
Feel free, there is time. This is of interest to all who are present.
And so I guess the question is, the light codes come in, our bodies upgrade. It takes us time to advance to this state. And now, could you speak about what the mission should feel like now, what a good direction is for us all now?
Yes. So it's the energies right now are very interesting, because as you know, as you are entering fall, you are preparing for the winter. You are preparing for a calmer time. However, this is not exactly a good description for what is happening right now. As I mentioned, you are just slightly over the peak, but it's not like from here on it's just down and smooth and restful. No. It will be a while before you can rest in that way. In fact, we would say maybe approximately a year or a year and 2 months in your timeline before you can acknowledge the time as more restful and more peaceful. However, it does not mean that until then you are to suffer. It just means that more intense energies, more events around the world are going to come. And that is the main difference. So what happened until now is all these frequencies that are coming, all these light codes, all these integration. Well, forced integration as you're being bombarded with all these frequencies. Now it is time for integration, and then integration through action. So there are two phases here of integration. So the one that you are entering now, that is most relevant for you at this moment, is the integration through rest. So you must be able to take time to allow these energies to settle within you so the body and the mind can catch up with the spirit and with each other. And we will say that many of you are going to go back, or from this weekend in general, to very busy lives. So the integration through rest will not necessarily be restful schedule. So then you must make sure that you take care of yourself so you do get the rest for the purpose of integration that needed. If that means going to sleep earlier, if that means having more time to meditate, if that means spending more time in water, please take that as a note. Or if it means changing your diet. And here again, you really have to listen to your body, mind, and spirit. So there are different changes that are happening, and the main one is that now you must give yourself time to integrate. So now is integration through rest, through just absorbing everything and allowing it to settle within yourself in the best way for you individually. So it's very important that you do not become preoccupied with the waves and flows of the world, as these next 3 months are vital for very personal integration. So the next 3 months, we recommend as much as possible to remove any comparison to the outside world, even people that are around you that you feel that you are on the same wavelength. You may discover that your integration process differs widely. So make sure that you have the time to fully allow yourself all the inner pieces to come together for, again, the body to catch up with the mind to catch up with the spirit, so you can flow more smoothly and more at ease. After that, after these 3 months, and of course the times are approximate and may differ from person to person, we're giving you a general guidelines. This will be integration through action, which is why it's different. So you will be entering winter, which is usually the time for hibernation, for integration, but this winter will be different. It will be the winter of action. And there you will notice that a lot of chaos will happen around the world. And it is not a negative thing in any way. In fact, it's part of what you've been waiting for, anxiously, excitedly been waiting for. And it is time then to begin the application of all these energies that you have been taking in, all this integration that you are going to do in the next, if we widen it, 1 to 4 months. Again, the general guideline is 3 months. So then it will be time for integration through application, integration through action. You will be called to exercise all that you have learned, all that you have taken in, and to truly blossom as a leader in your own life.
That's very empowering.
We are so happy to hear that.
To truly blossom. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Would our dear Ben like to ask a question?
Yes, indeed, my dear Hathor. It's beautiful to be here, so close to your energy.
It is for us, with you as
Physically
well.
speaking. And as you know, I hold great love, respect, and reverence for you.
We feel it and we share it.
But I'm very excited to hear from our new friends, and I wonder if we may give them the floor to speak, so to speak.
You may ask them a question and they will come forth and answer.
Okay, beautiful.
And you're referring to the Essassani.
Oh,
They
yes.
are clarifying.
Yes.
We are not new friends, by the way.
Thank you. I guess the big question right now would be, from their perspective, where are we with the contact process? Not so much open contact, which everybody kind of yearns for. I think we're a far cry from that right now. But whatever messages, wisdom they may wish to share, which would be most appropriate to our group and also to a wider group at this time.
Yes. Open contact may be closer than you think. We are talking months to years and not decades, as some indicate. Now, we will say that that timeline differs from person to person, from group to group. So, you may hear channelers or individuals that maybe are in contact with certain groups, and they may say, open contact will happen in 80 years, for example. And that may be true for them. As the timelines are going to start splitting, they have already started, but the split is going to increase, which means different versions of reality are going to be experienced more and more and more so by different people. Now, therefore, it is relevant, as you mentioned, to go to the here and now, to your small group. And we will say that the next, again, months to years are going to have very personal contact experiences to all or most of you, again, in a very personal way. Now, we do invite you to remember what you have already realized, that contact is not exactly an alien coming down in a spaceship meeting you in person. We know many of you yearn for that type of contact and are looking forward for that reality to come to pass, which it will. This channel is one of those people. She keeps on inviting us and others to come to her house, giving us instructions how to get in from the back door. Although we appreciate the invitation, and we say we sometimes take her upon the invitation without her fully realizing it, it is not the type of contact we are referring to. The type of contact we are talking about are personal experiences of realizations of relationships that are already there, including what you may call past, parallel, or future lives of your own self carrying different identities. This latter example is, in essence, the main body of contact that is significant to you personally, spiritually, and in preparing for a more physical presentation of this phenomena.
Okay, yes, very helpful. So, from my personal practice to strengthen my connection, because I understand that contact is there, but to strengthen my personal relationship with simultaneous lives of my own, and to connect to other extraterrestrial energies that may be wishing to communicate. How can I best do that? Because I struggle to find that connection.
Yes, we will say that the connection is there for you. And in fact, you feel it, but you don't recognize it as connection. So at times, when you feel overwhelmed by the energies, you perceive them as energy of the land. It is actually the proximity of what you would, in other words, term extraterrestrial beings. And the way you're experiencing it is the intensity of the energy of the physical body. This is a layer of contact in a more physical form than most people on your world get to have at this moment in time. So you may not recognize it as contact, but what you are doing is increasing your exposure and, in essence, again, making physical contact, more physical than we have discussed, because for most people, it is less physical and more mental, psychic. For you, because of your specific interest, connection, and intention with the land, your experience of contact is actually more physical.
Thank you.
So you are less likely to see lights in the skies, for example, but you are more likely to experience the physical sensation of a being you may call Essassani, for example, coming near you. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it with your body. You feel it in your energy.
Yes, I do. I understand.
So you are one of those few lucky ones that is building up towards physical contact.
Beautiful. Thank you. Asha?
Yes, I have a question for Essassani. Hi,
Greetings.
happy to hear you and see you again.
It is
And
always our pleasure.
thank you. So, building on Ben's question, what is the energy signature of Essassani when it's coming in close contact to you as a physical one?
It is difficult to answer what is the signature, but we can tell you that it feels very, very intense for people. So often when we come near, it feels like an uncomfortable physical expansion, pressure on different areas in the body, lightheadedness, and slight disorientation, similar to being overexposed to heat or having a very minor trauma to the head. Of course, without actual trauma. Now, trauma is a tricky term, and we will say it is actually appropriate here as our exposure is slightly traumatic for the body. And therefore, it happens in layers where the body can get accustomed to that pattern getting closer.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, could I just take 30 seconds of your time? Because the experience...
Why don't you take some more?
Because I'd like to give it to some others to speak, perhaps. We have 5 minutes left.
But you are speaking for all.
Okay, well, so my personal question is that I had an experience which is very similar to what you just described at the house on Friday night. Would that be an example of Essassani energy?
It wasn't Essassani, but indeed it were beings that were making contact.
Okay.
These were the Zetas.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So,
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Good.
So, that's what if I may ask directly, is that one of the Essassani's signature energy, the intense heat coming in the body?
We will say this was closer, the experience that you're describing, to Hathor. So the Syrian collective the divine feminine that is often channeled through this channel, Hathor, who is deeply connected to this land, and you may feel it actually is coming from the land. That was the heat signature that you experienced.
And what about the dolphins coming up in connected to the Sedona land and the water? If there is a water all the way down under the rocks or very deep?
You are thinking too concretely. The water is here, just not in the same vibratory rate as you are perceiving. So you don't need to go deep underground. The water is all around you. But it's in a, you may call it an octave or frequency that's different than what your physical senses can perceive. So in your specific frequency, in all of you, you see red mountains, you see desert land, you see those small trees. In other octaves, this is a lush ocean.
So that means the dolphins can be a part of it right now.
They are a part of it right now.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. We will mention that the dolphins, which you may know, are not, you may not know, are not tied to their physical frequency density the way humans are in their awareness. So they have greater flexibility with their senses to traverse different landscapes. So they're aware of you more than you can be aware of them at this moment in time in this location. And we'll allow one more short question and then we will end the session.
Hathor?
Yes.
Hello. I'm wondering if you could do 1 to 2 minutes of light language.
We would love to. Yes. As you know, we invite you to settle into your heart. We will provide a very gentle attunement as you are already in a location that is charged and that is hot, as you can sense. So we will offer you a gentle attunement. Urunahirasti Ruyanaraharikamaha Estiruhumaheyana Uranahayekatarahamaho Runeya hariketarohumahana Ureyati karastirutuna Hokariatu amahak irasti an aya Ukri anna ahurasti ak ah Neria hurach Urahirastuna haraya Ruhumaherakati hinaraha Iraniatirakurustunare naya Urunahamara Feel the love that all of us carry and broadcast to you so frequently. The session is closed.